hello, and welcome everyone to All Things Undone podcast, where we talk about life after divorce and how to move forward successfully. This is the beginning of season 3, episode 1. Give ourselves a hand. We made it. We're on season 3. I started this podcast as therapy for myself. I'm being 100% honest with you guys. I got married. I was married for 25 years to a pastor. And then we suddenly divorced. We did. And it just tore my entire world down. Every brick in that foundation was torn to the ground. And I said after 3 years, you know what? I'm going to talk to somebody. I don't know who's going to be listening, but I'm going to start talking. And I started January of this year, the first episode, and it was called Frustrated. That was the first one that I put out. And of course, I've been on my healing journey. So I haven't just started healing. For anyone who's watching, I am well into learning to love myself. And when I tell you I love this lady right here, this tigress, I'm not a cougar, I'm a tigress. I love me. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about me tonight. I am so very happy to have my co-host on, Miss Kimberly Clark. Welcome. Okay, Kim, I can't hear you. She's coming back. But while she's getting her mic together, I am going to introduce my special guest, which is Sharon K. Griffin.
Hey.
Hello. Welcome. There's Kim.
I'm here. You know, technology and me, we just don't. We just don't.
It's all right. Me and Kim have been friends since, I don't know, little kids, since like 7th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade. So we're going to come back to Kim. My guest is the executive producer, you guys, of a show that's on Tubi TV. And if you all do not know about Tubi TV, you are under a rock. You have been living life under a rock. I have dubbed it, and I know others have too. It's the new Black Hollywood.
Yes.
I'm going to get into it. It's the new Black Hollywood. And her show is near and dear to my heart. It is called Preacher's Exes. Y'all, who would have known that the universe will put a show out right around the time that I have experienced this, where a few years after, my cousin texted your show to me, by the way. So I am going to shut up for just a moment and let Mrs. Sharon introduce herself in her own way. The floor is yours.
Oh my goodness. Well, first of all, I don't even like introductions, and I need a glass like that right about now. But my name is Sharon K. Griffin. I'm an author, speaker, executive producer of Preacher's Exes. I just stepped into officially matchmaking. So I'm super excited about that as well, because I want people to find love. I was married to 2 preachers, and now I'm married to a Muslim, and it's super dope and super amazing. I went to the opposite end of the spectrum, and I'm 5 times married and very, very happy.
Very good. Thank you. Welcome. Now, before we get too far into that, Kim's mic is on. Yay. Now, I have to give a shout out to Kim. Kim is the manager of a longtime standing comedian. Her name is Yolanda Miss Cotton, and we love her. Miss Cotton is on tour. So thank you, Kim, for stopping in the middle of this comedy tour to jump on the co-host with me.
It's crazy. You're welcome. It's getting crazier. Yeah.
Kim's gonna make it. I was like, I don't know if Kim gonna make it.
I mean, it is not just a tour, because I have Ball Talk with Kim, also my podcast that I had to kind of shut down until the beginning of next year for that as well. And there are other things that's being added to the fire, you know.
No, all these irons.
That managerial production, producer, manager, event planner. Okay, it's everything. I just learned to say, okay, Lord, I'm ready for it.
I'm not. Look, I should have told y'all to have y'all drinks ready, but it is okay. Before we get started, Kim, we're going to touch on yours. But first, Sharon, I want to let everyone see just a snippet of the trailer for Preacher's Exes on Tubi TV. I did watch the show. I don't remember all the characters' names, but I was just too thrilled. Okay, Wayne, could you roll that for us, please? Let the audience see what we're talking about.
I'll say this. Sharon takes care of Sharon on all levels. So I don't look to other people, husband, children, whoever, to meet my emotional needs, because then I would be dependent on them. So I have to depend on myself and depend on God. If I looked for a person to meet my needs, then I would be connected to multiple people. Does that make sense? Like, I believe in, and I know this is off topic, polyamory at this point, because one person can't meet your emotional needs if that's what you want.
Wow. A little bit of the show. And actually her comment, I was like, whoa, wait. Yeah, when she said that, I was like, okay, this is not your regular Preacher's Ex's show. You know, this is not your regular show where we're just gonna be looking at y'all sitting in church all day, apparently. Like, it's not that kind of show.
It's not that kind of show.
Kind of show. So we're gonna delve on that topic just a little bit. But before we get there, I wanted to ask you about the characters, because even the dynamic of the characters on the show are a little different. And I'm saying characters, but these are real life people who have actually lived this. One character in particular, one of the people in particular is a male. And I know that throws people off to hear a man talking about being a preacher's ex.
Yeah.
Then I was like, wait a minute, what? Because when I saw I was like, wait, what? So what was the thinking behind the show, and what made you choose the people that you chose to be on it with you?
Okay, so I chose Albert because Albert went viral, and I actually had interviewed him maybe about 2 or 3 years ago. And he was married to a male pastor. So Albert is gay. And I thought that would be an interesting and very important dynamic, because there's so many gay men in church who are on the down low, right? Yes, or if you're openly gay, then you're shunned away in the Black church. So I wanted to bring that dynamic. And when I initially wrote the show back in 2013, and the only reason I filmed it for the third time was because I saw the Squid Games, and I heard his story about how it took 10 years for him to be picked up. So I was like, well, let me try it again. So when I wrote it, Eddie Long was going through his situation. And I had casted one of his young men. And the show actually went viral on YouTube then, before we knew what viral was.
Got it.
I chose Maria because Maria is Latino. Maria is searching still, and she can't believe some of the things that she has seen from men of God. So I wanted to capture the Latino community through her. Jennifer, she's super amazing. Wow, I don't know how I connected. I think it was on social media, but she's like a quiet storm. To me, she's still Miss Goody Two Shoe. You know what I'm saying? And she's still in, but don't mess with me, kind of in. If that makes sense.
Makes sense. She said, I got this halo on, but I'll take it off if I need to.
Oh yeah, she be ready.
Right. Right. Latasha was very last minute. And she's the youngest of the bunch. And she's still growing, if that makes sense.
That makes sense, yeah.
One of the cast members, we're getting ready to film season 1, the whole season.
All right.
Yeah, so one of the cast members won't be there, and she's replaced with a dynamic woman who is bisexual. And she did everything right according to what religion would tell us to do, or what people would tell us to do. And she's still lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
here's the thing: is that all the characters? You got more?
well, just me, I was married to two pastors.
Oh, okay.
And the reason I wrote the show was because my ex-husband stopped paying alimony, and I sat on the couch and I was like, oh shit, God, what we gonna do?
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like, or I know I heard in my spirit, write a show.
Hmm.
I was like, okay.
It's always like that.
It is. I mean,
Yeah.
this is what I'll say. When you're between a rock and a hard place is when your creativity kicks in. But I'm gonna back up a little bit. Two things
Yeah.
from just your cast alone that I pulled out. Two things.
Yes.
The first one is there is a duality to ministry in the Black church in particular.
Okay. Yes.
Where, like you said, we shun those who are openly gay. We talk about them, we ridicule them, we don't touch on. We focus on that nerve alone. The one scripture when they were talking about Sodom and Gomorrah and God burned the whole city down because they were gay. But there are so many men in church who are on the down low, who use church as a cover up. They use their wives as a mustache, as a cover girl, to really hide what their activities are. And preachers' wives are so loyal to their husbands. Things that go on inside of our homes, we don't speak on. There is a movie out called Honk for Jesus. If you all have not gone to see Honk for Jesus, watch Honk for Jesus. In this movie, I'm gonna give you the premise. They have a premise. They have a big, beautiful church, wonderful church family. And just like Eddie Long, the pastor had got caught up in a scandal where he was having sexual relationships with young men. And as they were retelling and rebuilding this story, the first half of the show, you would think that the media that was against him, like it was a smear campaign. It really wasn't. He really did these things. And his wife still stuck behind him after all of that. And at the end of it, and this is a spoiler alert, at the end of it, she was doing a mime or whatever, and she had this clown makeup on, and she was explaining how she had to sit through all of this, had to live through all of this, but she still loves God and she did all the right things. And what is she supposed to do? That movie went off with that woman wearing that clown makeup. She's still a clown in a circus. We don't talk about it because respectability politics covers up so much. Now, go ahead. I'm sorry.
When we first filmed the show, a lot of the big time pastors were calling some of the cast members. This is 2013 and saying, please don't do that show. Please don't go on that show. They were afraid of being exposed.
That part.
But I want to piggyback off of what you were saying. So in the Black church community, right? Our praise and worship leaders, many of them are gay men, right?
Yeah.
I went to Kojic, and there was the praise and worship leader who was spreading HIV to the men and the women in the church.
Oh, wow.
And upon his death, the pastor had to call everyone in the office because he left a book of people's names he had slept with.
Oh, wow.
And to call those people in one by one to let them know what was going on. And some of those people actually died. But the crazy thing is my mother, and she doesn't like me saying this, but I say, you wanted me to date him because he was so saved, because he was so anointed, because he could sing heaven down. Okay, so I don't take the gift away from him.
Right.
But she was duped by the emotionalism that comes with Christianity in the Black church.
Right.
So now, because I'm an adult and I'm more in love with myself, I don't allow people, other family members, to say what they want regarding Christianity and me not responding or rebuttaling
Right.
with factual information.
Yeah.
And I think that too, we should be able to do that. We have freedom of speech. We are adults, and a lot of times that's not even allowed. Now, I'm not talking about people who understand how to walk in love. They are truly Christians. They walk in love. They're not judging people. They're loving people. They're praying for people. We do have those people in church. This is not who I'm talking about. Okay. People who are truly, truly on their path, seeking God spiritually. You know who you are. You know who they are in church. The other 90%, that's who I'm talking about.
But the thing is,
90%, they just,
the thing is, though, that 10% that you are talking about will cover up for the 90%.
They do it a lot. Yeah.
And that's the sad part. Oh, well, God let me here and I was sent to pray for him. But he's committing adultery.
Right.
He's secretly sleeping with men. He's a liar and all these other things.
True.
But you stay. And I explained to my mother, you staying was saying it's okay for him to be cheating on his wife. Like, you condoning it, but that's another conversation.
So now, the 10% you're referring to are the I would like to call the prodigal sons and daughters. Is that what you're speaking in terms of that covers up for the 90, or is it the opposite way? I just want to make sure I understood that.
I think it's the people, and she can correct me if I'm wrong, the people that really love God and who's after God's heart, people who are just really seeking God for themselves, and they love God and they want to be there and they want to be pretty dope Christians. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's like the 10%, because you don't find many in the 90. I mean, they do love God. I think everybody has that love and that passion for it.
True.
But because so many have been damaged by the church, or I would say images or idols, or I would say family members who walk that walk, even our grandparents. And you kind of touched on it when you spoke about your mom, in a sense, like your mom wanted you to be with this person, right? Because he can sing and he's saved. And oftentimes I think our parents forget, okay, didn't you have to make mistakes too?
Right.
What if I would have got with him?
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What if I didn't use my common sense and stand up to my mom and say, Mom, I don't like this guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because a lot of us do what our parents want us to do.
Exactly.
Well, into adulthood we do. We do with our parents. Yeah, but that bothers me. It always have, and I think that was one, because when I was a pastor's wife, we were in associations and we were in sister churches and we did all of these activities. And I was so gung-ho for a church, and I love children. I love children's church. I love pastoring and preaching to like the youth, because that's truly our future. But what would get me was, and we would go to these association events, no one was being godly. No one was acting Christian. It was more gossiping going on than anything. I'll never forget, we went to a conference and some of the women were saying how they knew of certain pastors who would like leave their wives in a room and like be going and having parties like up on the penthouse and like,
girl, they be doing that. You right.
Foolishness. And I'm like, wait a minute, this cannot be. Y'all ain't serving the same Jesus.
You catch them in the clubs too. You'd be surprised how many pastors that go out and have a drink on a regular.
That's what got me. So it just things that went on in my own relationship that really caused my eyes to be open, to be like, okay, so this is more about what we look like to the community more so than what we look like to God. Because for God, we are imperfect beings. We are spiritual beings having a human experience, not the other way around. And I know people say, well, all I can see is this 3D. Well, when you die, your spirit lives longer. That energy within you lives longer, will outlive anything ever in the universe.
Yes.
And so we get out and we don't realize that all this energy we put out, whether it's fake, false, phony, we're pretending to be one thing to please our parents and the community. If you truly understand spirituality and serving God, all these things you do in the body energetically, even if you do it secretly, that's coming back to you one way or the other. And some people think, well, I don't have to account for it till I die. No, you're going to account for it now. Energy comes back.
You know what?
And even if church that way.
And if you don't account for it, guess what? It falls back on your children.
Oh yeah, that generation.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, it trickles down. Oh, absolutely,
it does trickle down.
Yeah,
there's something.
Go ahead.
There's something called epigenetic, and I just wrote this to my family. How family trauma and things are in your DNA up to 9 to 15 generations. So karma goes way back.
I mean, to your grandkids and stuff.
That energy has to go somewhere. It's basic physical science. Physical science was not my favorite subject, but I did remember this. For every reaction, there's an equal but opposite reaction. Energetic is what he meant. Energetic. A ball rolls uphill. Eventually, what is it going to do?
Come back down.
Exactly.
Same thing with energy. They don't teach it that way in church, and I understand that scripture so much better now. They have a form of godliness, but deny the power therein because we don't understand that. And I didn't want this to turn into a Bible lesson. So let me get back on track. I just said all that to say that duality in church is one of the things that has me worshiping differently. I do worship God 100%, right? But I don't do it in a traditional sense anymore because of all the stuff witnessed in church. And people say, well, that's the place you go to heal. Thank you, 10%. We know. Thank you.
I don't go anymore.
Right. It's convoluted. It's overshadowed by all of the other things going on. So the other thing I want to talk about is from your show that pulled out. Respect. We can stay all day on duality because
because you can create your altar anywhere. I wanted to say that it doesn't necessarily have to physically be in the church. Your altar can be in your car. I don't have to go to church to get that experience. I think I go to fellowship and connect with other people, but not for and yes, there's teaching and learning there, but I'm held accountable for me. So that experience of being with others like-minded and so forth, great. But at the end of the day, I'm accountable for me. So wherever I get, I can be in the bathroom,
right?
I mean, sitting at my desk at work, no matter that, I create that altar and I learn to do that because all he wants to do is hear from you. Yeah. Like, I just need to hear from you.
That's right.
I just need to know that you acknowledge me in all your ways, right? So that's where I create my altar. So I don't want to get too far in there. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Sharon. I'm sorry.
No, I just said I love it because, Kimberly, I don't go to church. I don't think I've been to church probably about 12, 13 years.
Yeah, they don't make
it. And a lot of my friends are in ministry, and I'm like, I know the stuff you do. I don't want you touching me. But the word can come through anybody. However,
no judgment.
Willingly support hypocrisy.
That part.
I don't.
You're openly doing it. You're openly doing it. I can understand you made a mistake. You come to church, you ask for forgiveness. You're trying your hardest to move past it and do better. That's another thing too. Unfortunately, the church does not allow people to move past their mistakes. For the ones who truly are, regretful and they want to change their life, they make it really hard for a person to get past their past.
Yeah,
I think they make it hard on the woman.
Yeah,
not the man, the woman.
You are definitely right. It's so double standardish. It's so double standards because a man. I used to say a man can get away with anything, but let a woman do it. We are cast to the lake of fire. Like,
that's right.
Horrible.
But if y'all notice, that the roles have been reversed here lately.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where the women, especially younger women, Gen Zs, millennials, they don't give a,
No,
you know,
they don't care.
they're doing their thing.
They do not mind exposing. They will expose for millennials and Generation Z. They don't mind exposing whoever they're in a relationship with, older person, younger person. And they will put your ass on blast.
Oh,
okay?
I can cuss. Thank you. I'm like, I can cuss. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes.
I'll be trying to be.
I was trying hard.
Let me tell you something. Let me reintroduce myself. My name is Hove. No.
She was trying hard. She said,
We do a little bit of everything on this.
You know, some of the platforms I just don't know. Like they don't give me the rules.
right.
I need to know what I can and cannot do.
I will say this: you can be your 100% authentic self on this show because we are our 100% authentic selves. So
Okay.
people come into this space and judge us. My saying to them,
absolutely.
and we love them. Fuck you, respect them. You don't have to watch. You don't have to watch nothing else going on here.
Because I be trying to be like, politically correct, but I want to say them motherfuckers are, you know.
Oh no. We over here. I told you. What they say. I am spiritual, but I cuss a little.
Girl, my husband
it is what it is because I'll fire one off every now and
again.
Every now and again, I'm like, ooh. And then I have to catch myself because then it goes too far.
Yeah. My mama said, when you start cussing so much, I said, when I left the church.
You know, it's opposite for some of us. It's when I got in church. Ooh.
What the fuck? Going to church.
You know, some people in the church, I'm just looking at, you know, because I grew up in the church. So this is me. I know you lying. I know you this look. Oh, see, I have to catch myself.
I'm telling you, they will pull it out. I have, as a first lady, I kid you not, I have been talked about from the hem of my skirt being too short, too long, hair too long, I wear too much makeup, I don't wear no makeup, I'm cold-hearted, I'm
raised wrong.
I'm raised wrong. And let me tell you, I'll fight a mofo for saying I'm raised wrong. Let me tell you about Myra and Charles Bryce. They did that. Okay.
So wait a minute. I gotta tell you something.
I fight somebody behind saying, you trying to talk about my mommy and daddy now.
Let me get you together.
Let me get you all the way together. The biggest thing that was ever told, I kid you not, was it was a revival or something years and years ago, back in like 2008 or 9. And I was late that night. We got 1 minute to break out. I was late that night, and I remember coming up, and I walked in, and somebody said, "Oh, here come Beyonce now," and you right. And I sure had on my Beyonce wig at the time, and you right. So that night, the first lady from the visiting pastor, she comes to me and she says, one of the church ladies said that you and your husband aren't really married. I was like, what do you mean we're not really married? I don't understand the rumor. No, it's not computing. Like what? She was like, oh, they were saying y'all just shacking, y'all not living together. Like, we had a whole ceremony back in 1994. I got the pictures, the video, and the license and everything. Who the hell told you that? Who told you that? I'm about to fight them tonight in the church parking lot. Meet me outside. I was ready. And then my ex-husband, who was at the time, he was the pastor, he was like, no, it's fine. We'll just present the certificate and show them. Fuck them.
Right. Right.
Now, they didn't get to see that side of Cheryl because my ex at the time was like, no, we're not going to handle it that way. You know, we're just going to have a church meeting and talk about rumors. No, we not. Some things you need to go loud. I know.
Right. Girl, I say that all the time.
And I'm going to tell you, that was the Holy Spirit, because I sure was going to run my car up in somebody's house that night.
Oh, not in the house.
In their house. Kim,
Slice the tires, everything. Bust the windows down. Do it all, girl. Do it all.
Let me tell you about Bogalusa, Kim. See, they think that I just automatically fell out of a silver spoon or something.
Child.
They don't know where I came from because I'm not from Bogalusa originally. I'm from Brookhaven. I'm straight out the hood.
Right.
They just don't know that because I don't present myself that way.
You was kind around me.
What you say?
You was kind around me.
Because I liked you.
But yeah, I get it because sometimes you have to step outside. You have to remind people. Oftentimes, I think we play such a more difficult role as women.
Hold that thought. We have to go to break, Kim, and we're gonna come right back to you. Okay.
Awesome.
All right. Take us out. Welcome back. And as you can see, we are on BWNC Radio, Black with No Chasers Radio. Download the app for free today. You can see the entire lineup of shows. And we are open now to businesses. I'm going to go ahead and say this. If you are a small business and you want us to begin advertising for you, I'm going to put a link up for you all to start sending in your ads for us to advertise for you. We're going to put that on out there because, hey, we ready. We ready. All right. Kim, you were saying?
Yeah, I think we as women are held to such a much higher standard. And Sharon, you mentioned it earlier about the roles are reversing now. Women just don't give a and it has a lot to do with where we will pull from. And I'm speaking in terms of the marriage. It has a lot to do with that extra rib, that we got. I mean, and also it has a lot to do with this. I feel like I have to be dominant because of the pain and the trauma that I've had to encounter, not just from family, but that significant other, our spouses or ex-spouses.
Right.
I'm gonna leave it at that. We'll just get to a higher standard because it's just like, ugh. And I think that's why it's so difficult. Why we get such a hard blow. Prime example is things that we hear. You're supposed to know that already, and it's a prime example. I don't want to go too far into it. What we see now that's going on in social media, everybody's well aware of this very famous radio show host who just going through hell, high water, and back. That's Miss Shirley Strawberry with Steve Harvey.
Yes, my husband in jail.
Oh my God, yes.
It's heartbreaking to me because it's not, and I feel that pain that she's going through, and it's like, and you hear the people talking, they making fun of her. It's like, you that old and this is what you're going through. It doesn't matter how old you are. Pain is pain. Trauma is trauma. It doesn't matter. But why are we so freaking judgmental? Embrace that woman. Like, help her. Don't keep adding fuel to the fire. Don't keep fanning the flames, as they say. Why don't you help her? Embrace her. Like, sister, look, I know you may not have known 8 years she was with this man and did not know that. I trusted you with my life to take your name, and this is what you do to me. Right. Just the humiliation that comes behind it. But we have to do something different. I agree.
I think Black women are hard on Black women.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We tend to judge And I think that judgment comes from low self-esteem. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're confident in who you are, you're going to celebrate or embrace, like you said, other people as opposed to judge them. Because when you're judging somebody, you're taking the eye off of you and
That's right.
putting it on them.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And confident women don't do that.
That's right. That woman is sure of herself. When a
That's
woman
right.
is sure of who she is, she's a statement all by herself. She don't need
Yes.
explanation. She demands attention when she walks through a room. She, good morning, everybody. Oh,
Yes.
okay. You know what I mean? It's just that, right? But you know those insecurities. As soon as they walk through the room, the first thing they do is put their head down. Nah, baby, roll your head up. You got every reason to. You know, you can bring forth life, sweetheart. Listen.
Yeah.
The man can't do that.
You are superhuman. That brings up something else, like what you just said. We are not taught, like just coming up, women are taught to be competition to one another. And in the Black community, for some reason, is just rampant. We seen each other as competition and don't have any type of success behind it, like Shirley Strawberry, very successful, very public. So now something has happened in her life, and people take the eye, like you said, they took it off of them, right? Judgment. They took that eye off of themselves and put it on to her, because now they can say, look, she thought she was high and mighty. Now look at her going through. Maturity has no age.
Yeah,
you can find someone that's way more mature and wiser than someone that's 75.
Yes.
My heart is with her, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
the situation I had that close. Go ahead, Sharon.
I'm sorry. Last night I watched Kirk Franklin's documentary.
I missed it.
It's on YouTube. It's on YouTube.
I missed it. I'm gonna watch it.
And I cried like a baby.
Wow.
And the reason I cried is because you have so many Black men and Black women who are searching to be heard, searching for truth, searching for love. And Kirk was like a little boy, as successful as he is to all of us. That child in him still needed to be healed. Ooh. And that is so systemic in our community. But when you talk about therapy in the Black church, a lot of times people still think that Jesus could fix it. And yes, God can fix it, but he gave you a therapist, a mind doctor, a heart doctor, an eye doctor. Like, we have to use the tools that was given to us. And I'm glad that Kirk even said, I go to therapy, because I go to therapy every Tuesday. Yeah, I love it. I talk so much and love it.
There she goes.
Right. Love it.
And that's where it's at.
It's my place to be free.
Yeah, I agree. They want you to pray it away.
Pray it away.
Yes.
Pray it away.
Okay. Everything.
Go ahead.
Prayer do fix it. I don't get me wrong. But it's continuous prayer, though. See, that's a lifestyle. Praying is a lifestyle. It's not just something you just do and expect an answer right then. No, that's a lifestyle. You have to continuously pray. And oftentimes, the first thing they do say, well, child, you better pray. Or can you just pray for me? No, you don't. Baby, look, you better retch off in that bag of, oh, Jesus, I need you to help me. Slang snot. Get on that couch. You better talk to somebody. Look, I will do it faithfully.
Kimberly, you know what though? Prayer does work, right? But prayer doesn't change anyone else's will. So I'm gonna use me as an example. I used to pray, oh God, please let him stop cheating.
See?
He ain't stopped cheating. He probably got worse.
He gonna stop all right when you ain't with him.
But then God changed my will and said, bitch, get out.
Right.
It's time to go. You know what I'm saying? And I did that. And that's when something clicked in me after the fact. No matter how many pillows I anointed, no matter how many shoes I anointed, no matter how many times I went to the altar and rolled on the ground, the nigga still ain't changed. But God changed me. and
That
change
part.
my narrative.
Yeah,
That
You know,
part.
that's
Yeah.
amazing.
So,
Yeah,
mhm.
that's it.
And that's the thing right there. We have all these limiting beliefs like we can't stop a thing, like we can't change a thing. You can change you. You can
Yes.
do this. And see, in my case, I probably honestly, and it was a wake-up call for me. My ex divorced me. And you know what my sister said when I told her and I was upset and crying? She said, bitch, run. Run. She was like, if I see what you don't see, and I've been seeing what you don't see, which is a little bit more subtle. She was like, it's manipulation. Abuse comes in different ways.
Yeah.
And she was like, you've been with that man since you was 14. You so wrapped up in my manipulation, verbal manipulation, you don't know what's going on. She said, God gave you an out. Take it.
Yeah.
And at the time, because I was so distraught, this was back in 2018, I was like, I don't get it. Because I thought I was the shit. And honestly, I still think I am. I think I'm, baby, let me. This outer appearance, this is lanyard. This is lanyard. This the extra bitch. What's on the extra? So yeah, once I started to say, oh, I'm like, you okay, God, you're gonna put me on this other path. Everything is torn to the ground now. And I heard so clearly, girl, I got you. When I tell you the house that I had right after we separated, moving into a beautiful house, very secluded in a very private neighborhood, and a creek ran along behind it. I'm like, okay, God, thank you. And prayer is manifestation. Praying,
yes.
everything I want. It may take time to get, but it is truly manifesting.
On time.
I want to stay near the lakefront in a condo. Guess where Cheryl live at?
That's it. That part.
Near the lakefront in a condo in a very swanky.
Thank you, girl.
Y'all
That's right.
I love it.
You have to embrace that side, but sometimes we just forget that we are powerful. Kim said it. What you said, Kim? We push what out our bodies?
The which part? On which part?
Babies.
But oh yeah, we gotta push. Yeah, we bring forth life. We push that life out. We gotta
life out. We
are
amazing, superhuman. We are superhuman beings. Every day I get up and tell myself that now. Every day. So I'm gonna circle back to the show for a minute.
Okay.
Because we also touched on not only the man in the show, there are some females in the show too, and they each have their own stories. There was an actress in there, the young lady, the Latino, who also bring different stories to the table. And a lot of times, once you've been married to a preacher and then you're not, like the church community does indeed shun you, like you're now the outcast, or whatever the case may be. Now, they don't ask for your story. This is the other reason I love your show, because 9 times out of 10, they're going to automatically believe the pastor or whoever.
The person
that automatically believe them. They're not going to ask them any questions. Hands down, if the pastor said it, it's true.
Yep,
that's
it's
right.
True. It's like Trump supporters.
Yes,
people in church are like Trump supporters. It doesn't matter what Trump says out of his mouth. We know it's a lie,
and you can be dead. Yeah, they dead wrong. But as far as that wife, you cast out. I'm telling you, they don't care about what you say. They care less.
So how are things, since it's turned into a season? So we're going to wrap this so we can go into what else I want to talk about tonight. So with the other members of the cast, what are they like? How are they now? Where are they now? How are they now?
You know what? So we've had 3 separate casts. Okay. Out of all the casts that I've had, these are some very phenomenal, secure people. We are all waiting to film the season. I can tell you who I'm going to have an issue with, and that's because he talks too much. Me and Albert. We're both from Philly. We're both from Philly. We're both fire. And I can see us, like, I ain't fighting no man, but I can see me busting him upside the head with something.
Yes, Jonathan.
You gotta watch this show.
Y'all have to watch this show.
You cracking bottles upside somebody's head. No, I'm just
Girl, Albert is a whole mess. Like, after we filmed and he was here at the house, it was a whole different
it's the after show.
Ooh,
This the after show. Oh my bad.
behind the scenes.
I can't say this is a spoiler alert. This the after show. The aftermath.
Y'all really got to watch the show. Y'all got to watch Preacher's Exes. And I was wondering because right now it's just like one show. And when I thought, I was like, this got to be a series.
It's the pilot. So we used that as the pilot. And we were like, no, we're going to go back and film season 1 because you didn't hear all of our stories in only part of the other stories. And I wanted to leave that cliffhanger like that because I wanted people to want more.
And we want more. I want more. You saw them. Look, I've been chasing this lady for 2 months. Maybe longer.
Like, I know she gonna answer me.
Really? That man, I'm not taking no for an answer.
No, I was just joking. But no, she was chasing you down though. She was looking for you. I need
for you, man.
I need her.
In the daytime with a flashlight. I'm sending emails, I'm messaging.
Oh yeah.
Like everything.
Oh, wow. Okay, I'm sorry.
Man, ma'am.
Okay. To her credit, she was in Turkey. I was stalking her on social media. She had went to Turkey or something. She had went out of the country.
I did.
And I said, okay, I say she living her best life, but I'm still gonna bug the shit out of her.
Well, she gonna come.
Thank you for stalking me.
Yeah.
We here now. We right here now. So listen, I want you guys to definitely, first of all, if you haven't already, like this video, share it with somebody, comment below. Make sure that you follow Sharon K. Griffin and also Kimberly Hope. She does poetry. Kim manages rappers. She's managing a comedian right now. She's on tour right now. Like, she has so much going on. So I'm going to put everything y'all need to follow. Kimberly Hope, Ball Talk with Kim, and Sharon K. Griffin. Watch this show on Tubi TV. You will not be disappointed. I'm telling you guys, watch it. For our next topic, I got cursed out for this topic. I don't know why. I really don't understand what happened. But I posted this. Is it love or circumstance? And if you follow the All Things Undone Facebook page, you probably saw the post. Was it circumstances really keeping our grandparents together back in the day, or was it love?
It wasn't love.
It wasn't love, right? It wasn't love.
It's circumstances.
There you go, Kimberly Hope, the Ball Talk.
Yes. Not you, girl. You gotta come on the show too. But no, I you know what? Well, I'm gonna let you finish, Cheryl, before I even say.
Go ahead. I'm sipping water. Go ahead.
Just sitting around, I think about the mothers and fathers and my fiance. His parents are still married. And culture has a lot to do with it too, I think. But I really do believe, because some cultures it's arranged, marriages are arranged and you have to stay there, right? But now in this Midwestern thing, I promise you, I truly believe it started out as love. And then it went to circumstantial, because things happen over the years. Did Big Mama tolerate Papa?
Well, hold it out before you get into it, because I made an intro for this one. Because this,
but baby, you better go on. The grown head.
Hold on. So what really was it? This is what triggered it. And my producer put me on to this post. Put the post up, Wayne, so I could read it right quick. This is what started it all. Okay. The reason your grandmother didn't leave your grandfather has less to do with some moral compass or love than you think. Until 1964, an employer could refuse to hire you because you were a woman. Until 1974, refusing to sell a woman a home was legal. And until 1988, that is not that long ago, you guys. What? You could refuse to rent to a woman with children, right? So contrary to what people believe, women didn't stay because relationships were better. They stayed because society wasn't designed for their independence.
You know what?
Right.
You know what? I agree with that, because even when you're applying for like a auto insurance, that still has not changed. If you are married, the husband is always the insured. like
Oh,
literally.
wow.
In insurance. And I'm noticing that it's like the husband is always on top. Some have moved away from that, but insurance, life insurance, the whole nine. And I'm going, why? Why? Why is the husband on top? That's not right. But again, I truly believe, to go back to that question, it may have started out as love, and love is definitely there. And I think you have to go back and define what love is. Like, because what is love to you? Or to that situation or circumstance, it's not necessarily all materialistic, but how do you feel? It's not a feeling, and because that goes away, the butterflies, all that stuff. Asking
Right.
a couple that's been married for over 50 years, how do you stay together?
We see you, Jonathan. We see you.
Yeah. So how did you stay there? Like, what kept y'all together this long? And you ask a man, the first thing he's gonna say, the husband says is, I just learned to listen.
Yeah, my husband says that.
Yeah.
Yes,
Learn to
I just
listen.
learned to listen. You asked the woman, she said, he just know what to do. It's like, wow, you got him trained. I had to train him, honey. Because that's what it is. If he want to stay with this, I had to train him, had to break him down. I'm like, wow. But they don't, not now. The couples I know have been married for a long time. And I haven't asked it that quite way, other than what kept you together so long. But did you really love him? And are you in love with him? Because are you still there? And I know the question was yes. The answer was, was yes. I will always love him. Being in love, that changes. That's condition. That's that circumstantial thing. Every now and again, I fall out. I'm like, what? But I flow with it. But I'm always amazed to see couples that's been together for a very long time. But it's just, I like to know the backstory, because I know y'all separated a couple times.
Yeah.
The word has been mentioned probably more times than my age.
So Kimberly, when I see an older couple and she looks all worn out and washed out, I say he put her through hell.
Yeah.
Well, those are couples. Oh, let me share this. Okay. For my mom and dad have been married. It'll be 40 years next year in May. They will be married 40 years. Wow. It was tumultuous at one point. They met as children. They got together in high school, got married, had us separated for a time, came back together. And although they get on each other's nerves, they are there for love, because they both had the option to stay away from one another. Right. They really did. And my dad even says today about my mom, he was like, she's still beautiful to me.
Aww.
And she says about him, he's still handsome. My daddy he's the coolest cat I know. I'm just gonna say that. Love daddy. Sometimes. And she says, that's the part of him that she's come to accept. And my mom and dad says this: if you're going to love somebody and be with somebody that long, you have to be able to accept them as they are, not what you want them to be.
Yes.
Now, that's the couple that's together because of love. Now, my grandparents, that's what made me post this.
Big Mama knew.
Big Mama knew. They were together not because of love, but because of circumstances. They were stuck together.
Okay.
My grandma was not educated.
Yeah. Accepting.
She might have had 5th grade education. I don't know. She wasn't educated. And back then, they really weren't set up for success in society on their own. Some women went out there and did the damn thing and they made it. Okay, they are the exception to the rule. But for our grandparents that say, we love Big Mama Nim. Y'all know we love Big Mama Nim. And she's sitting there. And what's that movie? Kingdom Come, when Whoopi Goldberg's husband died. Remember that one character?
Mean and Shirley.
Yeah, mean and surly he was. He died. And she was happy that he died. And she didn't care nothing about no funeral or nothing. She was like, "How let me be in the grave."
What you want to put on that tombstone? Mean and surly.
Right. But the one character that I remember so well was the lady who had the husband who had a stroke, and she had him out there in that wheelchair on the porch, and the mosquitoes was eating his ass up. Okay. She was paying that man back for all them years of misery.
Oh,
I would do something like that. That's the kind of person I am.
I'm gonna fix you. You want some water? Okay.
Wilbur. I think his name was Wilbur. He was getting ate up by those goddamn mosquitoes. Girl.
She loved me. She gonna come back and wheel me in a minute.
You know, a Tyler Perry movie when she dumped his ass in the water.
That water, he said. Okay, you know what? Let me stop.
Now look, y'all. There was a line in the Tyler Perry movie. What was that movie? The last one where the husband died. Let me make sure that's turned down. Where the husband died and the children came back, and the wife was saying how she stayed there because unlike today's society, she didn't have a choice.
Was it Meet the Browns? That wasn't the Meet the Browns, was it?
The funeral? Medea's funeral?
I don't remember.
What was the funeral one? It was Medea's funeral, y'all. I can't.
Oh yeah. Okay, I know what you mean. The funeral. Yes.
It was like not Byron, but it was the one son who had the daughter, who had the girlfriend who was cheating on him with the other brother. What was the name of that goddamn movie, y'all? Medea's funeral or something. I don't know.
I think it was Medea's.
If y'all know in the comments, if y'all watching and y'all know in the chat, y'all let us know what the name of that movie is. Because I can't think of it. It's Medea's.
It may have been the funeral. Medea's.
Something about Medea's funeral. I don't know.
Or comeback.
It's the one where she was hitting Hattie, and Hattie told her she was gonna knock out her. She killed her.
Yeah, that's fan. She said, "Dang, Medea." Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It was a funeral.
Wayne, do you know the name of that? If you do, just pop a picture of it if you find it. That one. But yeah, that was near and dear to my heart. I really truly feel like back then versus now, they had to stay. Now, like you said, Sharon, we ain't gotta stay. The Holy Spirit told you to get on up and go. Let's touch on that. You were married to two, not one, but two.
And I didn't meet them in church, neither one.
Really?
Wow.
Oh my goodness, because I could only do one. I didn't know if a preacher came to me today, I'd run so far and so fast in other direction.
Your cat's charming.
No. So tell me how'd you meet the first one? We ain't gonna dwell on it long, just real quick, and then the second one.
Actually on a trip to New York to the Apollo Theater. That's where I met him, on a bus going to the Apollo Theater.
Okay.
And then the second one, his sister was my nanny.
Wait.
I know, right? Wait.
They had to settle. Well, his sister was your nanny.
Mm-hmm. She one day said, "I want you to meet my brother."
Oh.
See, y'all the same age?
She used to take care of my kids. She was my nanny. She was.
Oh, she was your nanny. Okay, right. That came out. Look, my mind was like, you mean when
that's why I said, wait, she was.
Okay. Not my nanny. She was.
Got it. Nanny to your children.
Yes.
There we go. Put that in there because I was like, wait, she was. You know, it's settling late in the evening time, and our mind start going backwards.
My brain's like, what the fuck?
I'm like, did I say something wrong?
See, Kim right here with me. We're like, the man. Got it.
She was a nanny of the churn.
Yes.
So you're on your third marriage. You're on your third marriage. You're on your fifth marriage.
Wow.
Yeah. 2 preachers, and then who are the other 2 characters?
Just regular guys.
Guys. Okay. Yeah. Well, we're not gonna put too much energy on them.
Okay.
Look, them don't count.
They don't count. Now it's like I do men now. It's something that Super Sense said a long time ago. If I meet a guy and we click, but then we don't click, he not finna fuck up my whole count.
She said not my.
He don't even get counted in the number. He not even counted in the number. He gets blocked immediately on everything. And if I ever see him in public, I will walk past that fucker like I ain't never seen him before in my life. Promise you that's where I'm at in life right now. Fuck past you.
I love
you.
That's where I'm at right now.
I literally love women being like that. Women are owning their power.
That part.
That's what it's about.
And I love that.
Okay. Right. Who, like what you say at the clip at the very beginning when we showed on her show. Sharon takes care of who?
Sharon.
Yeah. I've had to learn to do that now in my life because we have been raised as Black women to be the caregiver to everyone else but ourselves.
Yes.
We love everyone else but ourselves. It's time for us to take a break and we'll be right back. All right, Wayne, we ready. Wayne. Oh, sorry about that, Wayne. He was like, Wayne. My bad.
Yeah. Just demanding that shit.
I know, just demanding. He gonna tell me about myself later, but you know, y'all don't get that part. It's gonna be in post production.
Media production.
But listen, you guys, please download the BWNC radio app. It is free. It's Black with no chasers. It is Black owned. We have Black music. We have sports, entertainment. We have whatever you could get anywhere else. Support Black businesses. Support Black media. Control the narrative. That is what we are doing.
Yes.
All right. So we have a whole lineup of shows. Check them out. And we're here. Sharon K. Griffin and Kimberly Clark Wilson, my co-host. I'm so glad she was able to join me today.
Yes.
But y'all are joining us for this portion. We've talked about Sharon. We've talked about the show Preacher's Exes on Tubi TV. Put that on your watch list
Tonight.
This week, tonight. Put it on there. Y'all go ahead and watch. I know y'all on Tubi TV because I called my cousin during our family reunion. We were downstairs fellowshipping. My cousin at the family reunion was upstairs. I go upstairs. What you doing? I'm watching Tubi TV. Sir,
I'll be there in a minute.
Yeah, he was like, I'll be there in a minute. So I know y'all go ahead and put Preacher's Exes on the list. Like we're gonna watch that.
Yes.
So we are talking about at this juncture in the show our grandparents and what was circumstantial back then. Was it love or was it circumstance? And I guess for my answer, it will be, I guess it depends on the couple. Now, we've seen a lot because we've grown up with a lot of toxic patterns. Kim and I have talked about this in previous shows. We grew up with toxic patterns. You put your feelings in your pocket. You stay there no matter what.
No matter what.
Stay there. One of my friends told me not too long ago that his granddaddy had a girlfriend and a wife. And that his granddaddy's girlfriend would ride to his wife's job and would have to take the lunch in there to the wife.
Oh.
Now, listen, the women didn't really agree to this. They just settled into it because he had literally told both of them, I ain't leaving my wife, but wife, I ain't leaving this bitch over here because she bend it over in a way you apparently don't.
Oh, my gosh. Pimping.
So the family knew about this dynamic. The wife lived in one house, the girlfriend lived down the street with her family in another house. Now for Christmas, and they didn't cross for holiday days and all of that. They just settled into this pattern because this man was taking care of both of them, a type of forced polyamory, I guess, or forced polygamy, or whatever you want to call it. She talked about it in her show about if that works for some people, go for it. So
Yeah.
For some people it works. It just happened to be that dynamic. And unfortunately, it was kind of the case for my granddad and my grandmom, except with one exception. She wasn't crossing paths with that lady. He could ain't no way. She knew about the woman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We got a comment coming in, so we're gonna catch this comment. Go ahead. What's the comment? Let's see what we got.
What's up, guys? Hello. What's your name? Is that Jonathan?
Hey y'all,
You
how y'all doing?
Hi.
What's going on?
I'm
Oh
so
man.
excited to see
Hey
you.
y'all, ball people rule. I'm in the right room.
Right, you in the right room, brother.
I love it. Welcome.
Thank
So,
you.
Man.
what's your comment?
So, I was talking about. So I had this conversation with this lovely older lady last night. Happened to actually be my wife's grandmother,
Wow. Okay.
and she is up in age, and now she's telling her truth.
Oh.
Things that she probably wouldn't have said earlier, and she made mention to my lovely wife that if she had it all over to do again, she would never have married her grandpa.
Wow. Wow. And why did she give an explanation?
Well, he was out there bad. He was out there bad. Babies galore outside, and her grandmother was the breadwinner of the family. He was always out and gallivanting around, sleeping with anybody who would allow him to,
Yeah.
having all these kids, and she was always trying to keep her head up in society. Now, the house that they had, even though she made the money, she couldn't buy another house. She
Wow.
only, she only got that house after he passed.
Wow.
So,
But she
and
was the breadwinner.
she was the breadwinner.
Wow.
She was the breadwinner. She was a nurse. She
Wow.
uh she was at the VA for, she told me, 26 years she was at the VA as a nurse.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
and he was a veteran. That's how they, he was a veteran. So
Wow.
You
Well,
should have gave him some medicine to put him to sleep permanent.
Sharon, you gonna put the man
you
no,
gonna
Oh
you
you
gonna
man.
gotta
put
go take a night.
you gonna
A
put
long nap.
you gonna put grandma on the green mile. Don't do that. On the green mile.
You,
Don't do that.
We are not
you
trying
just
to put
gonna go to
grandma on
sleep for a long while.
Long time.
She
Now,
gonna take a she gonna let him take a nap, a long nap.
now
That
on,
is
A
on
long nap.
but
You gonna
but
sleep off into glory.
but but on the other side, so um my grandfather, who I believe knew your grandfather quite well, Mr. L.C. Benjamin.
yeah, my grandfather was Willie B. Bryce. Elsie Benjamin is my uncle. But yeah,
Uncle,
we
okay,
talk
okay. I
about
thought
it.
he was your grandfather. Okay. So
That's
yeah,
okay.
so
He in the same. It's okay. You could tell. It's okay.
okay, so this one is actually a different story. So my grandfather was he really, so my grandmother was a kept woman. This is my grandmother. And so my grandfather, I asked him why don't grandma work, and he was like he's not gonna allow any man to boss his woman around at all. And so she stayed at home and he worked two jobs. And so grandma was spoiled. Grandma got whatever she wanted, and she always did something first. So I learned a lot about relationships, roles, and things from those two. But I remember that he was, until the day she passed, he was by her side. He was actually watching TV with her when she passed away, when she slipped away.
Oh,
And
wow.
but I learned a lot about romance from those two, because
Awesome.
it was a certain things that he would do for grandma, you know, and how he would dress up and how they would go out and do things that, so I have those good lessons. So that's the we compare and contrast that between my wife and I, as far as because these older people still live in the same time period. I just have
Mhm.
different experiences with my grandparents. With on that side, now my other grandfather, I ain't gonna mention him, but but yeah, that's my truth.
Would you
All
So
say
right. Well,
that?
thank you for sharing so much.
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
Jonathan.
I'm gonna have to let Jonathan go.
Okay, awesome.
all
Thank
right,
you, Jonathan.
thank y'all for allowing me to
Love
come here.
you.
All right, then.
Thank you. All right. So thank you, Jonathan, for coming on and sharing it. I think we need to compare and contrast. Go ahead, Kim. What were you going to add?
Mm-hmm.
I said, go ahead. What were you going to add to that? Can you hear me?
I wouldn't.
You can't hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, you weren't going to add anything?
I thought she was going to make a comment.
Well, I was going to ask Jonathan, would you say your grandparents married for love or convenience? But he
Oh, my
kind of
bad.
answered that already. But it was okay. He answered it. He
My
answered it
bad.
already.
And
Yeah,
see,
that's okay.
Wayne and I are also communicating like over here to the side as well. Like I got my other thing up, so like we're talking at the same time that we're on the show. So now y'all know my behind the scenes secret.
Yes.
But thank you. Yeah, I think for his grandparents it was definitely love, but for his
Oh,
wife's
what? Yes, it was not.
it doesn't seem so. And my mom's mom and dad died early, died young. My mom died when she was 12, and her dad died when she was 17. So they unfortunately we didn't get to see our grandparents at all. But she said it was tumultuous. My granddad on my mom's side was a bootlegger. So they were running from the law a lot. It was not your typical traditional type of marriage.
The Bunny and Clyde.
So there was some Bonnie and Clyde stuff going on.
Really?
Yes, indeed. Yeah, but I thank Jonathan for that comment. My uncle LC was a good guy. He really was. He was my grandmother's brother.
Yeah.
And then my granddaddy, yeah, he had a girlfriend for years. I mean, I don't know. The old people did that and they didn't talk about it.
Yeah, and we dare not talk about it. Not the grandkids.
No.
That's not your business. Mind your business. Is
That's
what
right.
they would tell us. Mind your business. Yeah.
And what happens in our house stays in our house. We need to stop it.
I hate that.
I don't like that saying either.
You go back and that's so damaging because if you go back and peel back the layers, we were so misled and so thought what was normal is so wrong. When you look back on it, you like, so you mean Miss Catherine down the street? That's what Papa used to stay at all the time. And Granny was okay with that. But
No,
they knew their place. They knew their position.
Yeah.
Side chicks were real side chicks back in the day. Like they
didn't say nothing.
they
They didn't go back to the house.
these side chicks trying to have too much fame, baby. Know your place. Okay.
Yeah, no.
I am not promoting that.
Right. But they knew.
Yeah, they knew, and it was never I ain't gonna say never, but they knew if they were in the same place together. Hey, Harold. Hey, I'll be over there tonight.
A certain level of discretion.
Yeah, they did.
Now the side chick could be like, I'm gonna take
the maid. Baby, it's all about me. You just the wife. They were so damaging.
Just the wife.
You just the wife, baby. I got it all. You know, that's just
I'd be like, it's just to cap up your ass.
That part. I'll never forget. I was the training manager at a call center, and I had a particular employee who was married. And this particular employee decided to date someone. Polyamory discussion. Yeah, we're gonna thank you, Wayne. We're gonna roll right up on this. So anyway, long story short, his wife worked at the call center, he worked at the call center, and the young lady he decided to have this affair with was at the call center. And I don't know how long he messed with the young lady. I remember being in the break room one day and she said, we're celebrating our anniversary. And I was like, I didn't know you were married because I didn't realize at the time what was happening. I was like, I didn't know you were married. She was like, yeah, celebrating my anniversary today. So I was like, happy anniversary. Now this is to the side chick because
oh wow.
it ain't dawning on me that she's talking about my employee, who actually I found out a couple hours later that he and his wife was celebrating their anniversary, and he had taken his wife to lunch.
Oh.
So this side chick was going around the call center saying that it was our anniversary. Get it? She
Oh.
Oh,
She was a sister wife.
She was a sister wife, man. That was not a good day for that particular employee because his wife was like,
Oh,
what the fuck?
she was the accepted sister wife.
Well, here's the thing. She didn't know it, but because she was a good Christian girl, she didn't say anything. She handled that with class.
All right, now there we go.
Now I would have left him, but here we go, polyamory, because it brings it up. I put this post up on my thread the other day. I said hello to all of the involuntary husband, brother husbands, and sister wives, because it's a whole lot of brother husbands and sister wives out here. You just don't know that you won.
Yeah, I think that's wrong.
Yeah, I know you're just gonna volunteer me to be somebody's sister wife or husband.
It's happening a lot.
I think
Wait a minute. Go ahead, Sharon.
you should just be open and honest, because there's enough people out there who are into that particular lifestyle. I even I love the woman. I see her on Instagram. She has 2 husbands and she's getting ready to have a third.
I remember that. Yeah, one was kind of younger guy, 2 younger guys or something like that. Not really younger.
No, these were older gentlemen.
Oh, this is another one then.
Yeah,
Oh,
and I was like, okay, but then historically, in some parts of Africa, the African woman had multiple husbands. So we just live in a patriarchy society, but I celebrate anyone who can honestly and openly be in that lifestyle and respect each individual who's a part of. And my daughter introduced me into this because her and her husband are polyamorous, you know, and it was really interesting to see her boyfriend come and pick her up, and her husband, he's at the door because I'm there, and he's saying, all right, man, have a great time. And I was like, oh man, that's kind of dope. It takes a special type of person.
I will say this, the comment just came up on the screen. I don't know if you could pull it back up, Wayne, but it said that it takes a certain amount of honesty, open communication, and right here, honesty, communication, and most definitely consent. And if they all do not consent, it is cheating. To have this kind of relationship, polyamory, you have to remove ego from the equation altogether. This is not the kind of relationship where you can have your ego cannot lead, because in this type of relationship, it's not territorial.
Yeah.
And if we lead with our ego, automatically we're territorial. That is mine. I don't want to share that with anyone ever. Right?
Wow.
So to be in that kind of dynamic, you really have to be open. You have to be a healed individual, because you have to be in a space where you, your partner, and your third partner or your fourth partner, or however y'all got that set up.
That's a lot.
That's a lot, but here's the thing: open communication. That means in that dynamic of 3 or 4 or whatever, you all are only being sexual with one another. You are all up to date on your physical being. You know sexually what's going on here. So, okay, because everyone is exchanging body fluids.
Is it cultural? It plays a part in that. Jonathan wrote there is a few tribes where the women had multiple husbands. She had a cooling off period between husbands, so to determine which husband, I guess he means which child she want to become pregnant with. Is that? I hope I'm saying that right. I'm understanding that right. But that has to be cultural, because he used the word a few tribes. Midwestern culture, it comes.
We're talking about here.
Okay, that polyamory, I think.
Polyamory.
Honest and consent. I don't think you're gonna find Shanquika and not Kimberly Hope. I'll be honest with you. Now, if I just feel like cheating, I'm just gonna go ahead and cheat. But I'm gonna tell you that I did it and I'm doing it. Like what? You don't like it? Go find you somebody to play with. But now I'm
Well,
not.
here's the thing. A lot of black men will not go for that. I'm gonna tell you.
Oh no!
I admitted to having an affair in 2008, years and years ago.
Mhm,
But here's the thing: I admitted to having an affair after I had a second affair.
Mm.
Now I don't suggest this for everyone. I got married when I was 14. Don't fuck me. I started dating my husband when I was 14. I got married at 18. Don't do that. Don't do that because you will indeed be attracted to other people. You absolutely will. And I had to live through all of wearing the letter A, all of the turmoil, all of the judgment, all of that shit as a child. Because 18, 19, 20, even up until your early 30s, you're still learning lessons.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point in my life, I was like, yeah, I could definitely do polyamorous because I am not in a state to be committed to one person.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it takes a lot of self-control. I did after that second affair admit that and literally go through trial by fire with the church. Oh my God. And I did indeed hold myself to a certain standard.
Mm-hmm.
But after we divorced, I was saying to myself, I should have done all that shit.
My daughter explained to me she knew from a teenager that she was not meant to be with one man.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow.
She knew that.
Wow.
So she introduced her husband into polyamory.
Wow. Interesting. That's interesting. That's very interesting to me because I know a lot of times it's hard, and I guess it depends on. Again, it goes back to that trauma.
Mhm.
Have you who mentioned that someone knew as a child? Was that you, Sharon? The young lady knew as a child that she wanted to do it.
My daughter, yes.
Okay, so that, and I'm not suggesting that. Oh, she's had a lot of trauma.
Oh,
from
I
a
like
bad
this
relationship.
Comment.
Who is this? Hold on, Kim. Hold that thought.
Wait a minute.
Okay, so Deborah Booth. Oh my God, I forgot about Deborah. Thank you for joining the show. Okay, so this is true. I used to work with Deborah. My spouse and my girlfriend understand I love them both, but in different ways. We love our children, but not in the same way. Very true. Deb, I have not forgotten. I do have to get you on the show. Okay, so Deb has an interesting story. And I have to get her on for more. But yeah, she does have a very open spouse. As a matter of fact, she just got married. I don't even know. I think it's been 2 years.
Wow.
You can answer that for me, Deb. I think she's been married for about 2 years. Right. Love is love. It's a purple heart because purple is her color. But love is love. And her entire dynamic is different. But here's the thing I love about Deb. Remember I was talking earlier about that ego? You gotta let that go. This is one of the few people I know who truly walks in love. There's 3 years. Oh my goodness, congratulations. I didn't realize it had been 3 years. I thought it's 2 years. She is open, she is honest, she is she's very, very loving. Like it's hard to explain. She was married for the first time, her first husband, I think maybe 20 something years before they divorced. And now she's remarried, but she is indeed in that type of open relationship. And one of the most loving people you could meet. Her husband is on that same vibe. Her children are too. I think because it's not part of Western culture, it's hard to wrap your head around.
Okay.
I think it's hard.
What's her dynamic? Is she married to a male and her girlfriend is, I assume, is a female, right?
Yes. Correct.
Okay.
She's married to a male and her girlfriend is a female.
Okay.
So do they have threesomes?
I don't know. Dave, you want to answer that?
Yeah. Are they all in a relationship together or do they have other relationships outside of their relationship?
That's a good question. So Deb, are y'all all sexual and intimate together at the same time, or are you with her separately from when you're with him? Is it like a sister-wife situation? Because I don't think they're doing threesomes in a sister-wife situation.
Okay.
Because I know when I used to watch the show Sister Wives, anyway, they did not. Each of them had their own little spaces or whatever. and he will have certain set times with each of them.
Each of
But I'm
them.
pretty sure in that type of relationship, the dynamic is different for each relationship. It just depends on the rules that they set. I'm going to use Willow Smith as an example because on one of the Red Table Talks, Willow Smith admitted to being in
Okay.
a throuple, and she said no, their relationship is individual. So she's with
Gotcha.
her husband when she's with her husband, she's with a girlfriend when she's with a girlfriend.
Okay.
So
Gotcha. Thank you, Deb.
awesome. Thank you, Deb. And look,
Yeah.
you this season. Y'all look for Deborah Booth. She's this season. We got a lot of stuff to talk about with Deb. I mean, she
I
is
know.
a unicorn. I will say that she is a unicorn. So we're going to talk to her. But Willow Smith said this. She was open to being in a throuple, which is a little different from polyamory, I guess. It's polyamorous, but it's 3 people in a relationship, not individually. All 3 of these people are in the same relationship together. That means they sleep together, they live together, you know, they are a throuple. Instead of a couple, it's 3 people. That third wheel is most definitely intertwined in that relationship.
Is it gender based? Like all 3 females, 3 males, or 1 female, 2? It could be any. Oh.
It could be anything. Willow Smith also admitted to either being bisexual or
non-binary.
No. What is that one where you like everybody?
Not is it not binary, non-binary or something?
I just heard of that recent pansexual. Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Pansexual. Now, I don't know. Don't quote me on that. That was some years ago that she said that, and her energy may be different today. Pansexual.
Yeah.
Thank you. So that a throuple can be anything. Just depends. It could be 3 men, 3 women. It could be 2 men and a woman. It could be 2 women and a man. It just depends. Okay, so Wayne says, I have always felt that we are designed to love more than one person. We were just programmed to be told it was wrong.
I agree.
Right. We are told it's a matter of greed, but if it's of the heart and based in love, can it truly be greed if you are being led by your heart and not your flesh? And that is such a deep ass question. But he's right. I think in this lifetime, we have many soulmates. We have many people that we connect with energetically and spiritually.
And I think that's why I've been married 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
Is it?
Yeah. You got to be careful with some of those, with some of the energies. Though.
Are you laughing at me, Kim?
We have a friend girl who was married. How many times Yolanda was married?
6 times.
6 times, and she has a book out called Breaking Soul Ties.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about energies. And, yeah, it's in this day and age. I'm pretty sure you've been on a rock if you haven't heard this. Soul ties are real. Like you meet somebody and you connect energetically, right? And we could be connecting spiritually to learn a lesson. We're connecting to them for some reason. Sometimes it's not always sexual, but because we put
it could be something else. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I wanted to chime in. Like we've been led to believe that soul ties are just sexual, but sometimes your bond could be so deep with a person connected via friend or whoever that is tied, like your soul sisters or soul, whatever you want to call it. Right. So I totally agree with that. It's not just sexual.
Very true. And we got to stop learning. We got to learn to stop leading with our vaginas and with our penises. Because a lot of times people up front, we are automatically leading with those things instead of taking a step back and saying, hey, let me assess the situation. True story. I just got on Facebook dating. I've only been on Facebook dating maybe a month. And I finally started talking to this one guy. Well, I'm chatting up a few guys in the little chat. So this one, I finally gave him my number. He's always calling me mommy. And for a minute there, I thought he was lying about being of Spanish descent or whatever, Latino. Get on there. And of course, he was talking so fast, like, oh my God, like I couldn't hardly understand. Okay, first of all, sir, slow down. Slow down. All right.
Could you understand those
English?
Slow down. We started talking and he suddenly stopped talking to me. And then he called me last night and I was like, who is this? And he was like, oh, I lost my phone at work and I didn't want you to know you. Long story short, he sends me, he was like, send me pictures and we're going to take a break real quick. Wait, I think I'm going to see how I think we're going to be still talking about this. Can you stay on for another 30 minutes? Can y'all stay on for 30 minutes?
Yes, I'm good. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I should be
Break
good.
and we'll come back for 30 minutes.
Okay, okay.
30 more minutes. Lead with the heart. Love it. All right, now we back. Okay, again, if you're just joining us, definitely download the BWNC app. Okay, download that. It's free. Also, we have an array of shows for you all to watch. But let me get to the point of my story before I lose track. That's one thing that happens when your brain get a little bit older. Long story short, I was talking about energies connecting. Anyway, Spanish guy finally told him, look, just call me later, whatever. You know, we could talk when you get off work. So he was like, oh, send me a picture. And I was like, I'm busy. I can't send you any pictures. I already sent you pictures. And he was like, so can I send you a picture? And I was like, of course. And already in my mind, I knew he wanted to send me a dick pic because the fuck, they're not original. Questions and shit. So I was like, okay, send me the picture. So he sends me a picture. Guess what it is?
Dang dang.
This is Dang Dang. This is Dang Dang.
Disgusting.
I can't stand niggas like that.
Disgusting.
He says,
I'm married now, but if I wasn't, at least forward.
yeah. Like, so can you handle that? And I've learned, first of all, what we're not doing is jumping in bed. I'm gonna read y'all what I said to him because I want to make sure I get every word right. Because you know, that's what we are. What I have learned about connecting with people energetically is what we're not going to do is be jumping in bed with your ass. I don't care what your dick look like. You know what, dude? So this is what I told him because you know, I'm learning. So he sends me that. He says, can you handle it? I said, you're already on level 10. Huh? I was like, LOL, I ain't on that. I stopped jumping in the bed with men quickly long time ago. People be on some other shit nowadays. I said, best answer I can give you, sir, is just, you know what? If you really want to date me, we can actually date and we can see where it goes. But so far as sex, that's not on the table. And that's kind of been my reply right up front with these guys. Look, if that's what you're looking for, it's not on the table. Keep pushing.
Not with me.
Keep pushing. Not off the rip like that.
Right.
No, sir. You're gonna have to push along, move along. But that's what we do. We lead with, you know, with our parts.
So let me show y'all something. When men used to ask me for a picture, this is the one I would send.
Oh, I gotta get it out.
Like, what is it?
It's an elephant pooping.
Shitting.
Oh, well, hot diggity dog. That you want a picture? Here you go. I like it. Now you want to tag me that picture. So I'm like, you want to know? Bam.
Yeah.
I got a pretty picture. You gonna
I got one for you, sir. Like what's on the screen? Is it a matter of the heart or the flesh? If you're gonna be in polyamorous relationship, you gotta be in it for your heart. Like you gotta be in it. You gotta let that ego go. If you don't let that ego go, it's not gonna happen. Okay.
Right.
And I got another friend girl who that she is currently in a polyamorous type relationship. And sometimes her and the other lady bump heads. It's not always a sexual thing though, it's just a personality thing. And that's the other thing you got to consider if you're trying to be in this thing. You know, this guy may like two different type of women, and in this situation, these women are nothing alike.
So here's a question for this this relationship, poly relationship.
Yeah.
I get the honesty, the commitment, and all that stuff, right? Like these two sister wives are bumping heads at each other. Men are wired different than we are. Okay. They constantly going at it. What stops him from saying, you know what, let me go find another. You know
And
what I
he
mean?
can.
Like okay.
He can.
I just
Yeah, but he has to get the okay from them.
from the other two. Oh,
Yeah.
that's too much work, huh? That is just too much work.
But
Scratch all that consent. Listen, that's too much work.
Yeah,
Kimberly,
he has to. He
cheating
has
is
to
work.
of those
Well, that's
women.
true too.
Yeah, cheating is work, and hearts get broken.
You
Well,
know,
hearts can
poly
get
work.
broken in a poly relationship
But that's why I respect polyamory, because people are honest.
until their feelings get caught in it.
You have to know your persons.
You got to, like in the case of Deb, who commented about her husband and her girlfriend. In the case of my friends who are currently in this situation, somebody say, "LOL, it is work. Relationships
It
are work."
is.
Period. Very true. It doesn't matter if it's multiple people in a relationship or one person in a relationship. You still have to work at it. And in the relationship that I'm talking about with the friends that I have, that I don't think they're watching this or anything right now, but the guy in the relationship, he is really respectful of both women. He takes care of both women. If there is a disagreement between the two women, he is the mediator. And 9 times out of 10, he does not try to make he's the way I've seen them like interact together. So they did have to do one thing, because the ladies' personalities are so different. They don't live in the same house.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. Well,
they don't live it because, see, you know, we like our kitchen a certain way. Period. If you don't want me, I don't care. I want my shit a certain way. I want my bathroom. I feel a certain way. Okay.
But see,
So
I think
they are separated in that way, though.
I think polyamory could give people a break from each other too. Like, I know with my daughter, she says, "Oh, he's over her house, so I got the whole house to myself. I love it." You know what I'm saying? So you have the best of all worlds, if that
I
makes
had a woman
sense.
say that one time. I did years ago. I had a female friend who said that. She was like, "I'm so tired of like I'm sick of having sex. Like, this man want to do it all the time, like all the time, every day." Like, she was like, she's like, "I would be a sister wife in a heartbeat."
Yeah, your pussy get a break.
You get a break.
Jonathan says polyamorous seems beautiful. However, my grandpa's advice was stick with one woman. You can't handle one woman? What the hell you gonna do?
Don't do it too.
That's what I'm saying.
Here's another thing. Now we're gonna take it all the way back to the Bible. King Solomon had a ton of wives.
Yes.
And he was a wise man until now. Y'all gotta go back and read the scriptures. Now, Solomon was the wisest man that ever lived until he got all those women. Do y'all know that man died just about crippled and crazy?
I'm sure he did.
Yeah. Solomon became like all thrown off at the end.
Wasn't he broke too?
Huh?
Was he broke too?
He wasn't broke, but he did spend a lot of money building the temple of God. But at the end of Solomon's life, he was not the wisest man. He was as a young man, but that's, you know what I always said personally.
Dementia.
Diving into all that.
He had dementia, y'all.
He's diving into I don't know who it
was. Alzheimer's.
just twirling that thing, baby,
baby like a rope.
In that sausage.
I don't know that long.
Baby, that's a lot. But you know, man, it got a lot to do with that seed that they push out. Like, man, look, that's go out and multiply. Child, you don't waste the seed. So he made sure he covered all his bases.
Yeah, but they say when every time a man comes, he's losing life. Like years or something from his life.
That's why they say don't waste your seed. Well, that's why they always plant it in somebody. That's why you got all these men with about 5, 6 baby mamas and about 12 children between them baby mamas. I'm just saying.
And back then, of course, you're right. All those women wasn't based in love. They were political connections most of the time. That didn't mean he didn't sleep with them now. They had harems back then.
The way you do that now. Trump,
and here's the crazy part. Go ahead.
The women that Trump messed with, the women that Bill, they all wanted something. Then when they couldn't get it, then they tell.
Yeah, right. You should have just kept your
Mother
mouth shut.
Right. Why you telling now, bitch? You ain't tell back then.
Exactly.
You
Should just kept your
wanted
mouth.
that dick.
Her well ran dry.
And this is what I want to say to women who Solomon had enough wives and concubines that he could sleep with each one and never sleep with the same one twice in a year. Very true. That's why that man went crazy. He couldn't keep up with
That's a
that.
lot.
I'm telling you, too
Oh,
much.
somebody said orgasm.
Oh,
is
wow.
Let me get up on here.
Yeah,
See
because
who
the heart
coming
rate,
in.
the heart be up. Mm-hmm.
The heart.
Yeah.
Your heart be up.
But
And it'll drop.
did you know that women who don't have orgasms on a regular are more susceptible to heart disease?
I heard that.
Yep.
Mhm.
I said,
So
well, I need
women,
to know how soon.
get a toy if you don't have a man, or find a partner.
You do got to get that out sometimes.
Yeah, you gotta release that.
That's why they be so mean and things.
Yeah,
Walking around
especially in
here.
church.
Okay,
The
Jonathan, I
usher.
agree. I don't think that. I
agree.
know it's called the little death, but I don't think that men lose life after each one. I absolutely don't believe that.
It's the little death. Look it up.
It's a little death because you don't snatch their soul for 30 seconds. You like,
Oh, baby, yes. But
But on the flip side of that, they say that it's healthy to do it regularly. You have a longer
Yeah.
lifespan, so you
I
have
believe
to.
have balance.
Yeah,
I think balance is good. I think it's needed.
knock
Women
that edge
need
off
to
every
do it.
day.
I mean, like women, we don't get to le petit morte. I love it. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I love it. I think that men love dying over and over and over and over and over again.
We must go there. They love it. That's
it.
what
Okay, since we're talking about sex, do y'all squirt?
Mm.
Okay.
I don't know what that means yet. So
Yes,
I guess
you do, Kimberly, because you were like,
Listen, Lambda. Listen, Lambda. Listen. So, all right. So I'm gonna tell a little bit of my business. I don't tell that much of my business, but I'm gonna tell a little bit of my business. Is there a difference between coming, nutting, and an orgasm? The orgasm affects your entire body, hence the little death. Right. Orgasm is from the very core of your body.
Wait.
You can feel that shit rising from the very depths of your soul before it comes out. Yeah, I even
Oh, wait a minute. Dwayne.
romance if you need some self-love.
Tell Dwayne to put that comment back up there that he just put up there.
Put that comment
Because
back up.
that's an educational moment for me because I thought they were the same thing. I did not know that. Okay. I didn't know that. So, well, I didn't know that.
Romance if you need.
Okay, so
I'm reading it.
I have an audience in my background, and he's like, "Shame on you."
Elroy, be quiet, Elroy.
Right. So
Okay.
I'm like, look, you got some work to do.
So is nutting just like a little few drips? You know, and then orgasm is like the full blast.
Yeah,
Well,
explain.
the women, we don't really get to experience a full orgasm because we don't feel safe enough to be open and authentic when we are truly experiencing sexual relations with our partners. Now, this is a side
You don't
note.
think so?
Well,
not
men
all the
get
time.
tired.
We don't get there all the time. We don't get to that
Well,
level.
not all the time, though.
But could it be that the man can get tired because it takes some women longer to reach that point?
I think that's where, like, if you're energetically aligned, like if you're a sync, I squirted. I'm telling y'all this. This is me giving y'all a little bit of my personal life. Back in my 20s, I did with a particular person. With that one particular person. Every time. And I said, that man got to be my soulmate. That was the first affair I had ever had. I'm going to go ahead and put that out. Because that's the only time that had happened is when I was with that particular person. Up until recently. Because I didn't think my body could do that anymore. But mind you, I had been married for like all those years. So marriage is over, divorce is final. I'm out there. So I meet this person in 2021, beginning of 2022. We'll meet this guy, and we hit it off. We hit it off, and we do the thing, right? And I was just as surprised as he was, because honestly, that hadn't happened for me. I'm 47 now. So that hadn't happened for me since I was in my early 20s. So to be doing this with this guy and then have this explosive orgasm and it just squirt everywhere. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Like, I didn't know. It felt good, but at the same time, I was embarrassed because that was something that hadn't happened in a long time. And I went to my doctor the next day because I thought something was fucking wrong with me. That's when you have an orgasm, your entire body convulses, right? Toes curl, back arches, all of that. So I went to my doctor because I said something gotta be wrong. Something gotta be wrong with me.
You
So
clean
I go there and I tell the doctor, and see, my gynecologist been my gynecologist for 30 years. So it ain't nothing he don't know about me. And I'm like, Doc, listen. So last night, and I orgasm and I squirt everywhere. Like I literally ruined this man's bed.
Well,
I think I peed in his bed.
So, all right. So there's a thing where some people are saying squirting is pee, and then some people are saying squirting is pee mixed with
This is what he
orgasm,
said.
right?
He said what that's called is neoprene. He was like, when you have a full body orgasm, it's called neoprene. It is mixed with urine because your body is in such a relaxed state that when you orgasm, it puts pressure on the bladder. Your okay. Your and I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to get banned. So your pearl, ladies, we're gonna call it your pearl. Your pearl is not connected to your urethra. It's two separate parts of your body. And the way the way he explained, your pearl is actually like an inverted penis. It wraps around on the inside of the fallopian tubes and goes into the body. So when you orgasm internally and externally, it's putting pressure on your bladder. So yes, it's neoprene mixed with pee. Does that make sense?
yes.
That's what causes the squirting. It doesn't happen all the time in women, So I thank you, sir. Thank you, young sir.
Okay, so Jonathan said, so we had a class at Alcorn called The Family. She taught us a stroking method to bring a woman to orgasm. We learned that we as men are really just cheerleaders, encouraging the woman to relax and using the stroke to hit the engorged zones to get her to orgasm. Now, that's the scientific method.
So, Jonathan, can you use your tongue to hit those zones too?
Not from
You got a long tongue.
No, you can do it from
No, I'm saying I think some people can squirt from oral sex. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe.
Is that possible?
I'm pretty sure it is. We could. I don't know. We'd have to consult I can ask my doctor next time I see him.
Yeah, ask your doctor and text me.
I will, because I asked him about that just because it was my personal situation. And so he explained that because honestly, that hadn't happened for 20-something years. Like, what the frick? Oh yeah, Deb has something called pure romance.
Pure romance.
Oh, I've heard of that before.
So she has that. Deb, you coming on this show?
It depends on what triggers you. You can squirt from the C word, G spot or A spot. What's A spot? Oh, never mind. That went. Never mind. I got it. Never mind.
This ground folk talk right here.
I said, we got to be careful. We don't get X'd.
Look, I have to have Deb on here. She does have it's called purple something. But she is like a sex expert too, y'all. So this is the lady who has the open relationship. So Pure Romance is the name. Is that the name of the Facebook group too? Because it's private. This is not an open one because we can't have it open because the topics that we talk about.
Yeah, you gotta text me the group.
Thank you. She is a certified sexual facilitator, and she will be on the show. I've been so busy. Girl,
drop your info in here. So drop your info. Go ahead. I need some here. Listen.
Okay. Different zone, and yes, the woman can swear from oral sex. From
I thought so.
Mm-hmm. Oh, come on, Jonathan. Look, now you get on off of here because you married.
No, Jonathan
like
be handling his business.
Right, don't be doing that.
Mhm.
Pure Purple Romance is the name of the Facebook group. So if y'all want to check that out, go check that out. Deb, I'm going to be calling you, if not tonight, because I got to work on 1-800-resume stuff. There it is right there. There is the link on the screen. And you guys go ahead and take that information down. And Deb, I'm going to say tomorrow, because tonight I got to work on some resume stuff too. I am on the gap. But we have 10 minutes left in the show. Thank you all so much for joining. This has been such an amazing conversation from beginning to end. I did not know that we were going to end the show on this note. I really didn't. So we talked about Sharon K. Griffin, who is the executive producer of Preacher's Wives. Look for the season of the show to start on Tubi TV. Preacher's Wives is currently out on Tubi TV.
Preacher's Exes.
Preacher's Exes. Now get it right. Preacher's Exes.
Thank you. I'm so sorry. Preacher's Exes is on Tubi TV. Thank you so much. So flood the comment section with comments, questions, feedback. Please share this podcast with your friends, with your unfriends, with your co-workers. Do all that. Look for me and Kim gonna have another conversation because we got a lot of stuff. We got to delve into what she got going on. So, we talked about the show. We talked about our granny now. Was it love or was it circumstance? And it just depends on the situation. Mm-hmm. Some was love, some was circumstance. And then we talked about, oh my goodness, polyamory and apparently orgasms.
I know. How did it come in?
I don't even know.
That was an added subtopic.
Subtopic. I'm happy with it. I'm happy.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so final comments. First, we're going to go with our guest, Sharon. Thank you so much. Any final comments for the audience today?
I want to say, and normally I start with this, I want to say thank you for having me on your podcast and having the opportunity to communicate about Preacher's Exes. So I don't know, I think we just dived in, but normally I start off with that. So I just want to say thank you so much, and I appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Of course, with that crown, Queen. Yeah. Oh my goodness. You all go follow Sharon K. Griffin. Kim.
Yes, and again, I have to piggyback off of Sharon because normally we just dive in. You know, it's thank you so much for having me on your show as your co-host today. It's always fun because I never know what you're gonna get out of this one, but I learned something. I learn something new every day, and I've learned a couple things. I learned a few things here, but definitely thank you so very much for that. And Sharon, I've gained another baldy friend. Look at that.
Yes, honey.
Yes. So thank you so very much. Sharon, where are you from?
I'm from Philly, live in Houston.
In Houston. Okay. I'll be in Houston soon. Okay.
Please hit me up. Yes. Share my number.
Yes.
Okay, definitely. I will.
Yeah.
Cool beans. All right, well, thank you, ladies. And again, everyone, thank you for joining All Things Undone podcast. We talk about life after divorce and how to move forward successfully. And we're going to be expanding our topics. Obviously, we have already started to well beyond that.
Yeah, you definitely have to have a show on sex education.
No, Dale is on it. Boom,
I would love to be a part of that panel.
Okay.
I'm going to chime in.
Yes.
You want to
chime in? Taking notes. I can't be a panel. My bad. Let me fix that. I'll be taking notes.
I love to learn.
Good. Dale said, I know where she is, and I do. So thank you all for joining the show. Please share, like, comment, download the BWNC app today. Follow I Am Well Media Group and all of our wonderful podcast that we got going on. We got stuff going on. I don't know. I felt like I wanted to say something else, so I'm just going to end it with blessings, love, and light to everyone. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you, Dwayne.
Until next week. Take us out, Wayne.